Greetings from the Valley of the Stars, and thanks for tuning in to the audio version of the blog Off Grid and Ignorant in Portugal. I have been a little lazy. Well, no, I haven't. Been super busy, actually, racing around in the height of the summer season and then injuring my foot in the process and hobbling around being no use to anyone. So I've been a bit slow in getting my latest update together. But here it is. This week's, or I suppose I should say this month's episode is entitled Atlantic AC, the comings and goings in the summer season. While we knew it was a good spot we'd found here on the west coast of Portugal, we hadn't realised just how good until the heatwaves hit Europe. We love oceans, especially big ones like the Atlantic, mainly for the stunning coastline carved out by wild waves and crisp, cold waters. To me, a dip in the Med can feel a bit like soaking in soup, and although here it's sometimes quite bracing, the North Sea it ain't, and the ocean is a wonderful 20 Celsius plus at the moment. One of our early options, as we searched for a place to call home in Portugal, was a move to the interior of the Alentejo, close to the winelands that nestle up to the Spanish border. The rolling hills and castles and monasteries streuseled around the countryside were a huge attraction, were it not for the sweltering summer temperatures. Half an hour or so east and the mercury starts rising. Further still, and the thermometers can head 10 to 12 Celsius higher than here on the coast. We found a place we could afford, far enough up from the Algarve to avoid the stag doos and hen nights, and south enough of Comporta to steer clear of Cluny and Kidman, the French designer crowd, and the super wealthy arrivals who followed. It may be the busiest time of year here, but our definition of crowded isn't Mallorca. There's always space on the beach, even at high tide, and especially in some of our more secret spots. We feel the moderating influence of the ocean in the winter as well, and this year the natural air conditioning of our prevailing northwest wind has created the kind of microclimate we're grateful for every day. While the rest of Europe has been sweltering it out under heat domes, the only thing we are properly toasting is our decision to move here. The 300 plus days of sunshine was the attraction, especially when moving somewhere off the grid. But as climate change starts messing with everything, it seems we've found a sweet spot. And thankfully, I can report another so far so good summer, where some fascinating people from all over the world have somehow discovered us, despite our still embryonic efforts at marketing. Discretion is the best part of valuing a hidden getaway like ours, but without giving too much away, we've welcomed a South African Constitutional Court judge, an ambassador, a two-time Oscar nominee who works with Ridley Scott, a former Cambridge Analytica employee turned screenwriter, an author and journalism professor, a top Dutch musician, and a huge number of fabulous and fascinating folk from all different walks of life. The calendar is full of colour, including patches of red, which indicates people arriving into rooms as other guests are leaving on the same day. We found some cleaners to help take the pressure off Krishna, who also has to keep an eye on the irrigation systems and make sure the vineyard stays alive. A patch of vines took a turn for the worse, and the prognosis from our friend Niels was mildew. After a bit of treatment, green shoots are emerging from plants I'd written off as being dead, and hopefully the bulk of them will survive the summer and thrive enough to store up some oomph to see them through the winter and start the spring strong. The calendar is still looking pretty hectic, but we do have a few gaps in the last week of August if you're tempted to swap the heatwave for some Atlantic waves and pay us a visit. And there's still some space on our next wine retreat at the start of October as well. And with a few retreats in our diary, we have no complaints in just our second year of business. No complaints except for my injured foot, of course. Spiking it on a sharp route deep in the forest while wearing highly inappropriate footwear was clearly my own fault, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. 2 weeks and a couple of courses of antibiotics later, and it's still curbing my usual enthusiasm. I can understand why torturers like to focus on the feet. The MRI scan came back this week and thankfully proved I'm not going soft in my old age, and there is actually a piece of wood 2.5 centimetres long lodged deep in my foot between a couple of metatarsals. If it had been nothing more than heavy bruising, I'm not sure I could have got away with putting my feet up and abandoning Anna and Oda to the daily breakfast routine and the regular runarounds for recycling and resupply. A trip to Lisbon, a meeting with a surgeon, and there'll be a plan to, no doubt, injure my foot a little more to liberate said piece of wood. But despite it all, we've continued to fire on all cylinders, keeping our people in pancakes and our clients in croissants, cakes and coffee, with thanks to the irrepressible Krishna and the fabulous Jose. There's much more to write about the brilliant Erasmus Young Entrepreneurs Scheme, which brought the man from Gran Canaria to our door, and every project this season has Jose's hand in it. Oda's bartending experience in Los Angeles has also brought a twist and a shake to proceedings with her weekly cocktail nights. We hosted guests and friends for an eclipse viewing party, and while only 93% totality, it was still quite a spectacle through the special spectacles I'd ordered through Amazon. I particularly liked the way the sun slipped into the perfect smiley as the moon made its way across the sun. We also always try to celebrate the Perseid meteor shower every year as well, and the peak of the performance was the same night as the eclipse. So one thing slipped easily into the other as we turned off the lights, cocktail in hand, and watched the shooting stars crisscrossing the sky. And everyone has been enthusiastically tucking into our new white wine, Mauro's fabulous blend of Arinto, Fernand Pires and Gewürztraminer, with its label lovingly designed by Oda. It depicts our favourite beach, Garfunkel next to the recently departed Simon, staring out to sea, and it's a lovely tribute to our much-missed mutt. Please go online to check the photographs of said label and all the other stuff as well. It was, of course, a big space to fill, but somehow Ronaldo Romulus I is managing to fill it, and remains just cute enough to get away with an astonishing level of puppy destruction. That's it for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll be in touch soon. Bye for now.